All right, we need to have a discussion. We need to bring it in. Bring it in, guys. Okay, get a chair. Let's bring it in. So, is it just me? Right? You guys have been playing the test, I'm sure. But is it just me? Or the more you play the game, the more all these little things start to add up and you start to notice things you haven't noticed before and it starts to chip away at your brain matter? That's kind of what's happening to me right now. We're going to talk about all these little things. I mentioned a lot of this stuff in previous videos, but the fact that there was over a month gap between the last playtest and this playtest, and the fact that they're the exact same playtest, sort of allows you a unique opportunity to experience the same thing twice. And what this has allowed me to do is it's really allowed me to confirm some of the things that I was wondering about before. So let's get into the video. If you enjoy the channel, be sure to hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. Also, a massive update for those of you wondering about the Fragrance YouTube channel. I'm having art made, I have a channel name, and I will announce that probably within the next month or so. So definitely follow me on Twitter and keep an eye on this channel, because I'll mention it here and there. And for those of you that don't know, I do actually have an Instagram. I'm trying to get a little more following there, so definitely follow your boy on Instagram. It is going to be in the description. So, as you probably could have guessed by the introduction, the thumbnail, and the title, there are just some things that are just really, really irking me about Delta Force. It's kind of making me feel like the game is just not where it should be, at least in this current version. Obviously, there is a better version of the game that has better quality of life updates. It's the Chinese version. We don't really get to play that right now, and apparently, according to Delta Force, we will be able to play that in the coming months. Apparently, that's the early access version that will be accessible. But even though there's an early access version that's updated, I heavily doubt that the early access version changes everything that really, I think, needs to be changed about Delta Force. Some of the most jarring problems have to do with just the visual experience of playing Delta Force. And comment down below if you have experienced a lot of this stuff as well. You'll be just sitting along, you're trying to shoot at someone, and then all of a sudden, a friendly or an enemy vehicle starts shooting at you, and your entire screen bobbles up and down violently. And I'm talking to the point where you probably have to stop shooting that person and then reposition, because you actually cannot see anything that's going on. And that isn't exclusive to vehicles shooting at you or next to you. That also happens, obviously, with grenades and just regular explosions that happen around you as well. Now, combine the screen shake with the visual bobble of the recoil and aim punch while getting shot at, and you have a vicious combination of visual clutter. Oh, but I'm not done yet. Have you guys encountered the flashbang drone that people throw in the air? Oh, that's a fun one. Yeah, you can turn away from it, and it still only flashes you a little bit, but sometimes it's completely unavoidable. Sometimes you just get unlucky, so now you have screen shake, aim punch, visual recoil, and you're blinded. And then if you're really unlucky, someone throws out that engineer drone that sends out this massive aura of just screen disrupting garbage that also reduces your fire rate and locks you in place, making your movement very slow. And keep in mind, ladies and gentlemen, this is just the visual stuff I'm talking about. What did I talk there for about a minute and a half about it? Yeah, so definitely let me know your thoughts about all that and how you experience that in game. Because while I understand that Delta Force isn't necessarily supposed to be like, Call of Duty or Battlefield really, I understand it's supposed to be maybe a more quote-unquote realistic take on the genre. I do think the screen shake's a little absurd, and they could probably just add a screen shake slider like so many other games have. And before I go any further in the video, I just want to make it very clear, I'm not trying to say that Delta Force is now suddenly a bad game. No, of course not. We're playing the exact same build. All I'm trying to say is, I think the problems are really starting to jump out at me even more. And speaking of jumping, let's talk about the movement. Now, it's no secret, the movement of Delta Force isn't really the greatest, but I am noticing things I haven't noticed before. For instance, have you noticed that, say you're about to enter a gunfight and you kill someone, but immediately after you get that kill, you need to immediately turn around and run the other direction? I find that when I am in that sort of transition period where I'm turning around and then I need to run another direction, I almost always get stuck on the ground, or there's some sort of strange delay, almost like the key press isn't happening. And the result of this is you basically stand there for just that microsecond longer, which can actually end up getting you killed when you should have been running away. This sort of weird key press thing can happen while you're healing as well, or maybe even reviving people, I find myself having to hit those keys multiple times sometimes just to get the action to activate. Now, in terms of the movement itself, it really does just feel sort of janky sometimes. You're running on the ground and you get stuck. And you're trying to round a corner and you sort of get stuck on something going around the corner sometimes. The strafing is pretty mid. It's okay if you use SMGs, but in general, it just kind of feels really sluggish, especially if you're leaning, which is fine. I understand the strafing being slow while you're leaning. But overall, the movement does come across just a bit jank. There's some fluidity missing here, and it definitely doesn't compare to Battlefield or even Call of Duty movement in terms of that fluidity. Now, the next thing I'm going to talk about is the maps, namely the Battlefield maps. I have played the extraction shooter maps just a couple times, and I do think that actually the extraction shooter maps, just from first impressions, are higher quality than the maps you get to play in the Battlefield mode, and they're probably less frustrating. Obviously, all these maps play differently depending on the game modes you play on them, but I'm going to talk about these in the terms of the two main game modes. I think both of the maps play better in Conquest, just because it allows for more rotations to happen. It allows for you to actually not get bunched up in areas. But in Breakthrough, oh my god. These maps on Breakthrough are just utterly brutal. It feels to me that the attackers almost always have sort of just a chokehold on the defenders. They have the better positioning. They have the better high ground. They have the better head glitch. And it really does feel, playing as a defender, that the attackers always have some route, some positioning to completely invalidate and undermine your position. So you can't even defend. And then, God forbid, if vehicles aren't being killed, and we'll talk about vehicles here. So the vehicle design, and I've said this many times before, is nowhere near the quality of vehicle design that you will find in Battlefield, even compared to Battlefield 2042. And I would say that Battlefield 2042's vehicle design is definitely not the franchise's best. But I would still take Battlefield 2042's vehicles over Delta Force's, because the way Delta Force's vehicles feel to both play in and fight against, it just sort of feels like you're playing against the vehicles from Call of Duty Ground War. And what I mean by that is, it basically feels like you're fighting some sort of RC car, you know what I mean? Just like some sort of cheap RC car looking vehicle that one-shots you, and then you can one-shot it. The fights have no depth when it comes to AT versus a tank, or AA versus a helicopter. It's literally like, I one-shot you, or you get one shot. That's it. There's no depth. There's no sort of mechanics that I can really discern. And overall, the vehicle gameplay, both as a vehicle and as infantry, it's just not good. So I don't know what they could possibly do. They would have to redesign basically every vehicle in the game, and they're not doing that. So I kind of just think you can just chalk that up as a loss. Now, I don't want people to listen to this video and say, oh, well, I guess that's it. Delta Force sucks. No, don't get that in your head. I do think there's still massive potential for this game to be good, but they have to make the right decisions. Obviously, the big one is the AI. They gotta remove the AI from the game. That's not even negotiable. And maybe there are some other things that I haven't mentioned in this video that you guys will mention in the comment section. So let me know your thoughts. I know for a lot of you, if not most of you, this is the very first time you've been able to get your hands on Delta Force. So let me know your thoughts in the comment section for sure. Hit the like button, subscribe to the channel for more content, and of course, keep an eye out for the second channel. I just plan on that being like a pretty casual thing where I just talk about things here and there. Not really a consistent upload schedule type of thing, but maybe it will turn into something big. Who knows? Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video, and hopefully the live streams. Follow your boy.